Hi everyone, welcome to Pro Coding Tips. In this video, we will learn about appsettings.json in ASP.NET Core, what it is, why we use it, and how to read values from it in our applications. By the end of this video, you will know how to manage configuration like connection strings and custom settings the right way. Let's get started. First, let's answer to this question, what is appsetting.json? In every ASP.NET Core project, you will usually see a file called appsetting.json. This file is used to store configuration settings for your application instead of hard-coding values in our code. We keep them here so they are easy to change and manage. You guys can see appsetting uses a JSON format for keeping the information, which is a simple key value pair format. So technically we have some keys, and then we can assign some values to each of these keys. And in real project, we have different sections like logging and connection string, which are the most important one, but also we can have some custom settings too. You can think of appsetting.json as a central place for all settings that might change over time. And another point that I like to mention about appsetting is that you may also notice files like appsetting.Development.json or appsetting.Production.json. As we can see the file here. So here now we have two appsetting. One is the normal one and one is appsetting.Development.json. So ASP.NET Core loads appsetting.json files first, then overrides values based on the current environment. This means that you can have different configs for development and production without changing your code. Simply, this means that if we have same section in both the files, in appsetting files, also in the development files, in that case, if the application is running, for instance, in development environment, so the value from development setting will override on the value in the app setting, and everywhere in the project when we request for data, we will get the data from this file rather than this file. But if the application be in a different environment, so in that case we get the original value from appsetting.json. So let's create a custom setting here, a custom section for ourselves to see how we can do this. So here I want to introduce a section with the name my setting, and in this section I want to keep the name of the API. So what is the API name? So which is test API, but I want to put it here, and then we can go and see how we can read this data. So the good news is ASP.NET Core loads these files automatically at the startup. So the values are available after that throughout the built-in configuration system and also dependency injection. So first, let's create a controller here. So I want to create a controller with the name config controller, for instance. So let's remove this one. Let's clean a little here. So here we can inherit from control base. Then I want to put the API controller attribute here. Also for routing, I want to use route attribute, for instance, with the name API controller. Okay. Let's create a endpoint here. So public action results, the name get. This is gonna be an HTTP get. Okay, so here I want to return the value I have stored here in API name in my setting section, but how we can access to this data. So it's really simple. So only we need to have a private read-only IConfiguration interface here. So I want to name it configuration like this. Okay. And then I want to add this to the constructor for injecting. So let's create the constructor and then let's add this to the constructor. Okay. Now, through this interface, we can have access to the data of our app setting files. So here, for instance, I can introduce app name equal to, we can have this configuration. Then, like this, we can specify the name of the section that we are looking for. So here we are looking for app name, as you guys know. But here, because the app name is inside the my settings, so also we should specify the path that this information has stored in for getting that data. So how we can do this? So we should say first my setting, then after this we can say API name. So now we can get the value of the API here, and simply we can return an OK with this value. Okay, let's run our API to see we can see the correct value here or not. So as you guys saw here, we use colons for nested section. So if there be another section inside section, we can through this colon specify the path that we are looking for to get the data from it. So let's open our API. Okay, try it out, execute. Okay, as you guys can see, we are getting the correct value test API. But sometimes the sections that we are creating in our app setting is not this much simple. Maybe there are some nested section in it. There are maybe some more information. For instance, let's say you are specifying a section for keeping some information about sending email or sending SMS or something like this. So in those cases, there are also a better way. So let's go through that way, which they call it strongly type, which in bigger projects using strongly type is a better way and is a better approach. So what we can do, simply I want to initially add a folder here with the name models. And inside this, I want to have another folder for as a config folder. In config, oh, I made a class by wrong. So let's create a folder with the name config. And here I want to create a class exactly with this name, my setting. So here I want to define my class. So here inside my setting, we have an API name, which is a string. So exactly we can here specify a property as type a string with this name. Okay. Then what we can do, so in the program.cs files, we can go and say builder dot services dot configuration. Okay, dot configuration, and inside configuration we can have this one, my setting. here. Okay, then we can say from where the information should came and map to this class. So we can say it should came from builder dot I think I wrote it wrong, so it should builder dot configuration dot get section, and inside this we can specify the name of the section that we need, which is my settings section. So now we are saying to ASP.NET to bring the data from this section and map it to this file. So now if we get back to our controller, what we can do, instead of having a configuration interface here, we can have my setting class here like this and like this, and here also we can have I option, and in I option we need I option from this type. Okay, and we call it simply settings, for instance. Okay, we can put this here now into our my settings. I believe that it should accept it and it shouldn't be I options. My setting is not null here. There shouldn't be any problem. I don't know why it's not accepting this. Okay, yeah. So what we need to get its value. Yeah, we need its value to put it here in my settings. So now here simply we can have access to the value that we need through these my settings. So here I can just say that return my setting dot API name. So again, now we can get the correct value. So let's check to see if we are getting the correct value again or not. I think the application is running now. Yes, let's refresh it. Okay, try it out and execute. Okay, now you guys can see that we are getting a correct value, but let's add another value here to see what will happen. So rather than API name, for instance, I want to name anything, for instance, a page size, maybe something like this, page size, and it's gonna be a 10, for instance. Okay, let's go to my setting, and here also we can have another property from int with the name. The name should be same as this name, page size. Okay, so now here also in our controller we can have access to that one too. So simply here we can instead of returning a string, we can return an object, maybe like this. So we can return the app name, which is coming from here. Also this one dot page size. So we don't need to this line also anymore. So now let's see another time. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, so now we can see that again we are getting the correct value here. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. Now you can know what appsetting.json is and how to use it in ASP.NET Core applications. If this helped you, like the video and subscribe to our pro coding tips for more tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.